active shooter incidents, knife attacks, vehicle ramming events. These are tragic realities that businesses across all industries must now prepare for. These aren't just concerns for high-profile locations anymore. They're happening at workplaces, schools, places of worship, healthcare facilities, retail stores, and office buildings across the country. Here's the critical gap your clients need to understand. Standard property and liability policies typically exclude these events.
TRIA, the Terrorism Risk Insurance Act, only covers federally certified acts of terrorism, and many deadly weapon events don't meet that narrow definition.
That means when an active shooter incident, knife attack, or vehicle assault occurs at your client's location, they could face massive financial exposure with no insurance coverage. The human tragedy of these events is immeasurable, but there are also significant financial consequences. Liability claims from injured parties, property damage, crisis management costs, counseling services for traumatized employees and customers, funeral expenses, business interruption, and reputation recovery. Without dedicated coverage, these costs come entirely from your client's operating funds. That's where deadly weapon protection becomes essential. This is specialized coverage designed specifically for active shooter incidents, knife attacks, vehicle attacks, and other deadly weapon events that are typically excluded under standard policies, and the coverage is remarkably comprehensive, more than most agents realize. Deadly weapon protection is one of the most comprehensive specialty coverages available. Let me break down what this policy includes because it's far more than just property damage and liability. First, third-party liability coverage, including defense costs. When third parties are injured during a deadly weapon event and file claims against your client, this coverage responds. The liability protection is substantial with maximum consortium limits, up to $30 million per deadly weapon event and $75 million in the policy aggregate. Property damage protection is included as a standard feature on a shared limit basis. Here's what makes this unique. Claims can be triggered even in the absence of property damage. Now here's where this gets really comprehensive. The policy includes accidental death and dismemberment coverage, medical expenses for injured parties, funeral expenses for victims, and counseling services for traumatized employees, customers, and witnesses. These human-focused coverages address the real needs organizations face after a deadly weapon event. Crisis management services are included both pre- and post-event. This isn't just insurance that pays after something happens. It includes access to crisis risk services before an event occurs to help your clients prepare post-event. The crisis management services help organizations respond effectively, manage communications, and begin recovery. The policy also includes circumstance coverage, which is critical. This means coverage can be triggered by the brandishing of a weapon or simply if there is a threatening circumstance, even without actual injury or property damage. A threat that forces evacuation, lockdown, or business closure is covered. What sets this coverage apart are the policy benefits that make it truly market-leading. First, there's a broad definition of weapon. This isn't limited to firearms. It includes knives, vehicles used as weapons, explosives, and any object used with deadly intent. There's no requirement for property damage or bodily injury to trigger coverage. The circumstance provision means that even a credible threat can activate coverage. There's no minimum requirement on the number of people injured. Even if one person is harmed or threatened, coverage responds. Critically, there are no exclusions around who the perpetrator is. Whether it's an employee, former employee, customer, stranger, or anyone else, coverage applies. There's no vehicle exclusion, which is important given the increasing frequency of vehicle ramming attacks. With retentions as low as $10,000, this can be used as a deductible buyback or buy-down option. The policy clearly states this insurance acts as primary insurance in respect to both indemnity and expenses, meaning it responds first before other policies. Coverage is on a pay-on-behalf basis, meaning businesses don't need to worry about cash flow issues post-event. The insurance company pays expenses and claims directly, rather than requiring the insured to pay and seek reimbursement. This is crucial when organizations are dealing with crisis response and don't have time to manage insurance reimbursement processes. Here's what makes this product so versatile. We have appetite across all industry sectors. Every business with employees, customers, or public interaction faces deadly weapon risk, but we have particular appetite and success in sectors with elevated exposure. Healthcare facilities, hospitals, clinics, medical offices where workplace violence incidents are unfortunately common. Also, offices of all types where active shooter events can occur. Places of worship, churches, synagogues, mosques, temples that are often open to the public. Retail operations from small stores to large shopping centers.
Schools at all levels, K-12, colleges, universities, vocational schools. Stadiums and large event venues with significant public gathering.
Transport hubs, including airports, train stations, bus terminals. But don't limit yourself to these obvious targets. Every business is a potential candidate. Corporate offices, manufacturing facilities, warehouses, restaurants, hotels, entertainment venues, fitness centers, nonprofit organizations, any operation where people gather faces this exposure. The key is helping clients understand they're not immune just because they're not a traditional high-profile target. Active shooter and deadly weapon events are happening across all business types and locations. The question isn't if this could happen to your clients. It's whether they're protected when it does. Here's how to position deadly weapon protection with your clients. This isn't optional coverage anymore. It's essential risk management for operating in today's environment. Frame the conversation around comprehensive protection that most businesses don't have and don't realize they need. Start by asking if they have active shooter coverage or deadly weapon protection. Most will say no, or they'll incorrectly assume it's covered under their existing policies.
Walk them through the exclusions in their current property and liability policies. Show them the TRIA limitations that leave most deadly weapon events uncovered. Then present deadly weapon protection as the comprehensive solution. Emphasize the breadth of coverage: liability, property damage, medical expenses, counseling services, crisis management, funeral expenses, and circumstance coverage all in one policy.
Highlight that coverage can trigger even from a threat without actual violence. Stress the proactive benefits. Built-in crisis risk services help them prepare before an event occurs. This isn't just reactive insurance, it's risk management support. For maximum impact, focus on the human elements. Yes, financial protection matters, but what really resonates is that this coverage provides counseling for traumatized employees, funeral expenses for victims' families, and crisis management to help organizations respond compassionately and effectively. This is about protecting people and helping organizations heal after tragedy. The sales opportunity is substantial because virtually every commercial client needs this coverage, and very few currently have it. Deadly weapon protection addresses one of the most serious risks businesses face today, one that's largely uninsured under standard policies. With comprehensive coverage including liability up to $30 million per event, property damage, medical and funeral expenses, counseling services, crisis management, and circumstance coverage, this is protection every business needs. With appetite across all industries and retentions as low as $10,000, you can protect virtually every commercial client in your book. Don't wait for a tragedy. Start the deadly weapon protection conversation today and provide the comprehensive coverage your clients desperately need.